Hi yogis and yoginis. We're going to have another mat yoga class that deals with one of the chakras, and we're working on the third chakra today, which is the Solar Plexus Chakra or Manipura Chakra. And I just want to read you a couple things about this chakra before we start. First of all, the color of this chakra is yellow. The element is fire, so we think about a campfire burning at the Solar Plexus Chakra. And the location is just above the navel. So all of the systems included in the Solar Plexus Chakra are the adrenal system, the pancreas, digestive system, liver, and the gallbladder. And the small one-word chant or mantra that you can use to sing to your Solar Plexus Chakra is RAM, R-A-M. So we're going to use that mantra chant a little bit later on in the class. I just want to read you a couple things about the Solar Plexus Chakra. Now, we talk about the Solar Plexus Chakra being called the city of jewels. These jewels are determination, willpower, purpose, and direction. The Solar Plexus is our fire center where we put our ideas into action. And it's from this space that we digest life, both physically and also in how we process the situations and circumstances life throws at us. And those are words that come from Anna Coventry, who works for doyouyoga.com. Another way to think about it is thinking about fire as action and transformation. Allowing ourselves to grow and become a better version of ourselves means taking action and leaving behind what no longer works for you. And I found that on chakras.info. So when you're questioning the balance of your Solar Plexus Chakra, we have some questions we can ask. You might be thinking, Becky, why do we keep doing these certain yoga poses directed at the various chakras of the body? Well, sometimes we might have an imbalance in that area, and that's impacting the rest of the body or the rest of our outward lives. And sometimes we have an overly excessive chakra, and that can have an impact too. So let's ask these questions when we're thinking about having a balanced Manipura chakra. Do you feel you can do anything you set your mind to? Do you digest your food easily, or do you suffer from indigestion and an upset stomach? Is your energy stable, and do you wake up in the morning eager to start the new day? Is there enough spice in your life? Things that make you feel excited and want to do things? Do you feel your life has too many toxic elements in it? Do you always feel tired? Do you get snappy easily? So these are just some questions that we can ask. And if we're saying, well, yes, I am having a problem digesting my food, or yes, I am waking up and I'm feeling pretty good and ready to start the day. If you're feeling good and ready to start the day, likely we have some good balance in that area. If you're not digesting your food properly and you're having some digestive issues, then maybe this chakra could use a little help. So we're going to use a lot of poses today that will help to stimulate the Solar Plexus Chakra just above the navel. And it's just going to not only make the body feel good, but it's going to ripple out into our outward lives as well. So let's go ahead and get ready to get started. I always like to start our class by standing tall in mountain pose and unwinding through the shoulders. Sometimes we're coming to the mat first thing in the morning and we might not have a lot of tension in the shoulders. So maybe this is our signal to open up the heart and to start the day in a nice, relaxed way. And if we are coming to the mat at the end of our day, maybe we are unwinding some tension there. We don't put it there on purpose, but sometimes it's there. So why don't we give ourselves permission to let it go? One more time, unwinding through the shoulders, rolling them back and down, turning the palms to face forward, standing tall in mountain pose or Tadasana. Let's just start to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. And as we stand tall in this majestic mountain pose, maybe we'll envision a little ledge cropping out from the side of that mountain. And on that ledge is a little campfire. And we see that campfire shining its light to everything around it. And we might think to ourselves as we start today's practice, when I stimulate and fan the flames, the good fire in the solar chakra, what is my purpose? Am I trying to burn away debris that is putting up obstacles for me? Or am I trying to motivate myself to try to get my dreams to finally come into reality? Whatever you need your little fire to be today, I want you to set an intention for today's practice. Set an intention to use the poses and the options given as you'd like, intending to build up that good transformative fire at the solar plexus. As we hear the sound of our healthy breathing, we're reminded to breathe throughout each and every pose, especially if a pose is challenging. Let's keep breathing rather than holding the breath. And we promise to feel each pose to the best of our own abilities today, while listening to the body at all times, easing up whenever we need to, and giving ourselves more of a challenge whenever we want to. Now, let's take a moment to bring both hands together at palm center, at heart center, palms touching. And we're going to use that Ram chanting mantra that I mentioned earlier. So we're going to take a big inhale. We're going to chant Ram all the way to the end of our exhale. And really bring those lips together on the M sound, and feel those lips vibrate, okay? We'll do it 3 times through. Let's relax those arms. Let's take a moment to just work a little bit through the neck here. Let's inhale tall through the crown of our head. On the exhale, gently turning the head to look over one shoulder. Inhaling back to the center. Exhale, turning the head in the opposite direction. Inhaling back to the center. Now a gentle tilt of the head to one side. Lifting, lifting. Exhale, tilting to the other side. Lifting back upright. Now let's lower the chin on the diagonal toward the inside of one elbow. Inhale, lifting up. And on the exhale, we lower the chin over to the other side. Inhaling and lifting back up. Rolling those shoulders back and down. Now let's take a nice wide stance with our feet here. Toes pointing out on the diagonal, knees pointing in the same direction. Let's inhale, both arms overhead, palms touch, And on the exhale, bring your hands to heart center. One more prayer flow. Now let's hinge forward, gathering with our sunflowers pose, sunflower hinge. Starting to bring a little heat into the body with these flowing movements today. A few more of these sunflower hinges with a nice flat back, keeping the abdominals engaged on the way down and also on the way back up. Last time, then we'll make a little change. Now let's use moonflowers. Bend the elbows, bring them into your ribs, then reach for the corners of the room. Couple more breaths. Now let's use a rotating sunflower. So on the exhale, we reach down for the ground. On the inhale, we rise up to follow the sun. Exhale, down to the earth. Inhaling and rising. One more time in this direction. Now when we get to the top, let's reverse, sending some good fluids down to the lower back, keeping those abdominals engaged, strengthening those core muscles. One more time around with rotating sunflowers. And then bring those arms all the way back down, stepping all the way up to the top of our mat. Feet are hips distance apart. Let's inhale, arms overhead. Swan dive to a forward fold. And on the inhale, we lift to monkey with a flat back. Exhale, down to forward fold. Little bend in the knees as we rise up. Swan diving down. Inhaling into monkey, flat backs. Exhaling down. Rising as we inhale. Continue to follow the breath here. Two more times through. Now let's swan dive down to a forward fold, taking a moment to straighten the legs here as much as is comfortable for us. In the beginning of the practice, it may not be very easy for us to straighten those legs, depending just on the length of those muscles here and on the tightness that we sometimes find there. But we'll keep on using the forward fold and we'll see if things kind of loosen up by the end of our practice. Let's step all the way back to downward dog. Pressing those heels back and down. Starting to pedal through the heels here with alternating heel presses. Stretching out those lower legs and stretching out through the spine. Now reach those heels back and down. And when we're ready, let's lower the knees down to the mat, stacking right up into an all fours posture here. Shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees, and you can always use a fist here rather than flat hands if that feels more comfortable. Let's inhale, arching through the back for cow. And on the exhale, curl up through the spine for cat pose. Now let's come back to a neutral position. As we look at the ground, let's inhale. And on the exhale, bring that left knee under the body toward the nose. And on the inhale, press that left heel upward. Exhale, round the spine, nose to knee. Inhale, arching the back as we press the heel upward. One more time, nose to knee, pressing that heel upward. Come back to all fours. Let's try it all on the other side. Let's inhale. Exhale, the right knee in toward the nose. Inhale, press that right heel skyward. Rounding the spine, arching through the back. Couple more times. Now let's come back to all fours. Reach those hips back toward the heels for a nice extended child's pose or balasana. Now on the next inhale, let's shift the whole body forward to a strong kneeling plank, engaging the abdominals. And on the exhale, keep your elbows close to the body as you lower down to the ground. On the inhale, let's lift the chest away from the ground like a snake in the grass for cobra, and then lift the body all the way back into child's pose. Again, let's inhale forward, strong kneeling plank. Exhale, brush the ribs right in between your elbows as you release down to the ground. Inhale, lift for cobra. And on the exhale, come all the way back. Let's keep moving, following the breath. Inhaling forward, exhaling, lower down. Inhale, lift, pressing your solar plexus chakra into the ground during cobra, and exhale back. One more time through. Coming all the way back into our child's pose, taking a few breaths here. Maybe we'll take a moment to walk the hands over to the left diagonal here, stretching out the whole side body. Then we'll walk those hands back to the center and over to the other side. Walking those hands back to the center, let's shift back into an all fours posture. We'll kickstand out the left toes on the diagonal. Straighten out that long right leg and lift that right arm skyward for a kneeling side plank. So we look down for a moment and we notice our left hand, left knee, and right toes are all in one line as if they're on a balance beam. You might lift that right leg off the ground for some more balance challenge if you'd like. Now when you're ready, gently rotate back to all fours. This time, let's kickstand out the right toes on the diagonal, point through that long left leg, lift that left arm skyward. Very nice. Decide if you want to lift that left leg off the ground for extra balance work. Now let's gently, gently rotate back to all fours. Let's reach those hips back toward the heels, stretching out the spine. One more time here. And when we're ready, let's lift the hips, curling our toes down to the ground, pressing those heels back and down as we come into downward dog once again. On the next inhale, let's come forward to a high plank or kneeling plank, lowering down through chaturanga, that's crocodile, inhaling and lifting to cobra or upward dog. Then lift the body all the way back to downward dog. Hopping up or stepping up to the hands, rise up tall on the inhale, and let's exhale into chair pose. Inhaling, arms overhead, swan diving to a forward fold, stepping back for downward dog. Inhaling into the plank of choice, lower with control, lift to cobra or upward dog, then lift all the way back to downward dog. Moving up to our hands, rising as we inhale, and we exhale to chair pose. Following the breath through these sun salutations. Sun salutations have this wonderful way of warming up the body in a hurry, which is a great way to add some logs to our solar plexus fire. But they also can be very meditative. Just the same movement time and time again. Many times I've heard sun salutations called a moving meditation. Two more times through the sun salutations. Last time through. Now let's bring those arms all the way down. Grab yourself a drink if you have one. All right. Oh, I hope that you're feeling good and fired up in a good, positive way. Let's go ahead and take our left arm across the body. Use your right arm to hug it in close and relax through those shoulders for half knot. I like to imagine someone is holding onto my wrist and pulling it out to its longest length. Thinking about that good transformative fire in the solar plexus right now, just above the navel, burning away anything that no longer serves us, and also fueling our dreams into realities. Let's go ahead and take that right arm across now, hugging it in close to the body. Now when you're ready, relax your half knot. Let's inhale the right arm up, reaching up as high as you can to elongate the spine, and then a side bend. Feeling that marvelous lengthening of the whole right side of the body here. On the next inhale, lift, lift, lift. Relax that arm down. Let's take that left arm up, reach as high as you can, and then the side bend. Now lift, 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 lift. Relax that arm down. Now let's take both hands into heart center for Anjali Mudra. Let's inhale tall, engaging the abdominals, lifting up tall through the spine. And on the exhale, starting below the navel, let's start to twist gently, gently toward one side of our mat. Standing spinal twist. Now all of our twisting poses stimulate that solar plexus chakra. So even when it's hard sometimes being in these twisting poses, I want you to remember all of that good transformative fire that we're building there, and remind yourself that you can do this. You can hang in there, because there's positive growth on the other side. Now gently, gently unwind back to the center of the hips. Let's try it again on the other side. Let's inhale, engage the abdominals, lift up tall through the crown, and on the exhale, twisting, twisting toward the other side of the mat. All right, gently, gently, let's come all the way back to the center and relax those arms. Let's take a step up to the top of the mat. The feet are hips distance apart. So let's start off with Warrior One, taking our left foot back as far as we can possibly step with that whole left foot on the ground there, and then turn the hips to face forward. So we're looking out into the distance with a soft gaze through the eyes, engaging the abdominal muscles. Shoulders are stacked right above the hips for good spinal alignment. I'm going to use prayer pose here for Warrior One. Now, when you're ready, keep your your right foot where it is. Pick up that left foot, stepping back into Warrior Two. Looking out over that right middle finger, let's flow our Warrior Two pose. Gently straightening the front leg as we inhale, arms overhead, then exhale, bring that bend back into the knee. Now, if you've come to yoga today and your arms are fatigued, remember you can always take the arm parts out of any pose. Just let them relax. And the same thing for the legs. If the legs are fatigued, just do the arm parts. It's always going to be your choice. Use these options given as you like so you can create the practice that suits you best. That keeps us coming back to the mat. One more breath. Now let's come back to Warrior Two. Gently, gently straightening that front leg. Now we're going to use revolve triangle. So I want you to windmill the arms. So take that right arm down, bring the left arm across, resting it on top of your right leg or just outside of the right leg, and open your chest out to the side. This is our revolve triangle, and it certainly is going to fan the flames of that solar plexus chakra. So hang in there, keep breathing. Two more breaths. Now, gently unwind all the way back, stepping all the way up to the top of the mat here. Let's inhale, both arms overhead, little bend in the knees as we swan dive to forward fold. On the inhale, we're lifting to monkey, exhaling down to forward fold and rising tall. So a little bit of monkey flow here. Keeping the body nice and warm. One more of these monkey flows. All right, now let's make sure the feet are hips distance apart. Let's step our right toes just slightly behind us. excuse me, I'm saying right, but I mean the left toes here. Let's inhale tall, engaging the abdominal muscles. I'm going to scoot back a little bit so you can see more of this pose. Inhale tall. Let's gently hinge forward from the hips, coming into warrior 3. You can keep the hands at the hips. You're welcome to take them out to the side like airplane wings, or reach them long beyond the crown of your head for more of a balance challenge. Engaging those solar plexus chakra muscles. Let's take 3 more breaths. Gently, gently rise. Shake out those warrior 3 legs. So an important thing to remember in warrior 3, when you hinge forward, the hips should be facing downward. Don't let that hip fan out to the side if we can help it, okay? All right, let's go ahead and come up to the top of the mat again. This time we're taking the right leg back, as far back as you can step for warrior 1, and turn those hips to face forward. So we have revolve triangle and warrior 3, 2 very challenging poses that really access those solar plexus chakra muscles. I know they're hard, but let's try to get in there, throw some extra logs onto that transformative fire so we can see the results on the other side. Now when you're ready, gently pick up that right foot, stepping back into warrior 2, looking out over the left middle finger. Let's fan those flames with a flowing option. Two more breaths. All right, coming back to warrior 2. Now this is where we're going to straighten that front leg. Get ready to windmill those arms around. Bring that right arm to rest on the left leg or just outside of it. Open up that chest toward your bent leg. I know it's hard and challenging to back those shoulder blades up against the wall in a revolve triangle, but let's do the best we can. Focus on those solar plexus muscles. Now when you're ready, gently, gently unwind. Whoo! Step all the way up to the top of the mat. So let's use our warrior 3 now on the other side of the body. So this time, I'm going to bring my right toes slightly behind me. Let's all inhale tall, engage those abdominal muscles, and on the exhale, hinging forward over that left leg. Choose any arm options you like. Remember to try to aim that hip of your right leg downward. Don't let it fly off to the side. 3 more breaths. Now gently, gently we rise. Oh, shake out those warrior 3 legs. Very nice work. Now let's inhale the left arm up to shoulder height. Watch the tips of your fingers as you gently twist through the trunk. Inhaling back to the center, lower that arm down. Let's inhale that right arm up, gently, gently twist. Inhaling back to the center and lower the arm down. Now, when we get down to the floor here, we are going to have an opportunity to use a yoga strap if you have one close by. If you don't, do not worry. I'm going to give lots of other options as well. One more lateral raise with a gentle twist on each side. All right, very nice. Now let's come on up to the top of the mat one more time. Inhale, both arms overhead, swan diving down to a forward fold. Now when we get down to our forward fold today, let's use our elephant bind. So basically you can just lace the fingers down below with the palms facing each other. That can be your long elephant's trunk. Or you can also twist at the wrist and then lace the fingers for your elephant's trunk. Let's remember to straighten the legs as much as is comfortable for us. And then maybe we'll add a little sway of this trunk with just a little movement at the lower back. It's not a big gesture. Now when you're ready, come back to the center, release that elephant bind, step all the way back to downward dog, and reach those heels back and down, engaging the abdominals, enjoying this wonderful stretch for the spine. Now when we're ready, let's come forward to a plank pose, a kneeling plank, and lower the body all the way down to the ground. And we're going to find ourselves lifting into cobra, okay? So I'm going to scooch back a little bit so you can see the whole length of this pose. So we're on the ground, palms of the hands just outside of the chest. Let's lift the heart away from the mat to extend through the spine. Now notice, in cobra, we're not pushing ourselves up, we're lifting the chest. So you should be able to pick up your hands and wave to your friends in cobra. Think about engaging that solar plexus chakra, pressing it down into the earth beneath us. 5 more breaths. Now gently lower the chest down to the ground. Now stay here where you are. I'm going to grab my yoga strap so I can show how to use this for the next pose. Another wonderful pose that opens up the, or that engages the solar plexus chakra is bow. Okay? Now, there's a couple different ways that we can do bow. We can do a full bow, which I'll show for you first, and then I'll also show half bow, where we do one side at a time. Now for full bow, what we would do is lay down on our belly, and we would lift our feet up into the air behind us. And I would carefully reach back and bind with the ankle. If I can't reach that, I could hold on to my pant legs here. I'm going to reach back for both ankles. And when I'm ready, I'm going to start to move the feet away, and that's going to lift up through the chest. So that's a full bow pose, pressing the solar plexus down into the ground. And then gently bring the heels back toward the bottom and release, okay? I'm also going to show half bow today. So I'm going to use my strap first. Remember, it can be a yoga strap, it can be a bathrobe tie, whatever you have. You're going to put that strap across the front of your shin, just one leg at a time. Okay? And then what I'm going to do here, well, yes. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this so it's a little bit closer to my ankle. And what I'm going to do is hold on, and I'm going to move that foot away, and you'll see that my chest starts to lift away from the mat, okay? And if I cinch it up a little bit more, I can get a little more lift. That could be half bow with your strap, okay? If you don't want to use a strap, just take that out of the way here. What I usually do is put one arm parallel across the top of the mat, and I reach back with my other arm to bind at the ankle or hold on to my pant legs, whatever I can reach. And when I'm ready, I'm going to start to kick that foot back, which automatically lifts the chest. So let's try a half bow with or without the strap. Think about those solar plexus chakra muscles. Think about that spinning yellow wheel of energy there and fanning those good productive flames. All right, now bring your heel back toward the bottom, release the bind, switch on over to the other side. So take the other arm parallel across the top of your mat, lift up the other leg. When you're ready, kick that foot back, pressing it away, feeling the chest lifting. Breathing. Connecting the solar plexus to the ground beneath us. 3 more breaths. Bring that heel in, release the bind. Maybe take both arms across the top of the mat and just rest your forehead there for a moment. Now let's take both hands, palms down, just outside of the chest. Carefully press the body back into extended child's pose. Stretching out through the back. Lots of good work there for the solar plexus chakra. Now when you're ready, kind of just crawl forward. Bring yourself down into a seated position. Now, after being folded forward in child's pose and having that big back bend in our half bow and a little back bend in cobra, we're going to do something a little different here. This is a yogi's choice pose. So we can either use tabletop or an inclined plank. So both of the poses start off kind of the same. We're sitting on the mat. Our palms are on the ground behind the hips, fingertips pointing toward your bottom. Now for tabletop pose, my knees are bent and I'm going to just lift my bottom off the mat and try to make a tabletop shape with my body, trying to stay lifted. The only difference with inclined plank is I have long legs with pointed toes. I'm still gonna lift off the ground, but it's gonna be more like a diagonal line from my collarbone down to the tips of my toes. So I want you to think about which one of those poses you'd like to use today. And if you do this lesson another time, maybe choose the other one. So when you're ready, keep the abdominals engaged, lift, Now, one of the things we want to be mindful of is not hanging in the shoulders. So you want to be lifting yourself up rather than hanging down like a hammock. Does that make sense? So lift up, stay strong through the shoulders, the abdominals, the glutes. Those are the muscles in your bottom there. Pressing down through the heels. 3 more breaths. And gently, gently, we come on down to the ground. Very, very nice. Why don't we use a butterfly pose here? Let's bring the soles of our feet together. Slide those heels in as close to the groin as is comfortable for you. Let's inhale tall, roll those shoulders back and down. Let's stay upright for 5 breaths. Now you can choose to remain upright or we can add a hinge. Let's inhale tall, exhale, hinging forward from the hips. Now let's lift all the way back upright. Take an easy, relaxed pose here. Let's inhale, the right arm up, reaching as high as we can, and then on the exhale, a little side bend. Now inhale, lift, lift, lift. Relax that arm down. Let's inhale the left arm up, reaching high, and then exhale, gently, gently. Lifting, lifting, exhale that arm down. All right, let's go ahead and move toward the top of the mat here. Let's hold on behind our bent legs and gently, gently roll down 1 vertebrae at a time, hugging those knees in toward the chest. Now, let's keep the knees close to the chest, lift those feet up toward the ceiling, and let's use the peace fingers of each hand to hook on to our big toes. Now, if you're not able to reach your big toes, no worries. You can hold on to your pant legs. You can hold on to any part of the lower legs, the inside of the foot, or the outside of the feet. When you're ready, let's open up those bent knees a little wider than the hips, binding wherever you like, and let's rock this happy baby side to side. Trying to keep the tailbone low to the ground to protect the back at all times. Just a nice relaxing massage for the back, but with some great hip opening work in Happy Baby as well. All right, let's bring those hips back to the center, hug those knees back in toward the chest. Keeping our knees bent, let's lower the feet to the ground. Now, let's pick up our left foot and rest it just above the left knee. The right knee. And we're going to lift up through the shoulders, reach your left arm through the window you've created with your legs, take the right arm outside of your right leg and lace the fingers under that right thigh. And pull those legs as close to you as is comfortable, coming into a deeper hip opener here for the left hip. Now gently lower that right foot to the ground. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So the right foot is resting above the left knee. Lift up through the shoulders. Reach through the window you've created and find that bind. And then bring your shoulders and head gently back down to the ground. Now I'm flexing both feet here. That helps to keep all of our leg muscles engaged. Two more breaths. Now let's gently release that bind. Let's take our right foot long to the ground. Pick up that left shin so it's in a bent position and extend the arms out to the side like scarecrow arms. Let's cross that bent knee over that long leg, being mindful to keep both shoulder blades connecting to the ground beneath us. Supine spinal twist. Now that other leg may be hovering in the air. It may be able to come down to the ground level, and it may be somewhere in between. Let's just go where that knee is willing to go today. Now gently come back to the center. Switching sides, we bring that right shin parallel to the ceiling. Cross it over your long right leg. Check in with those shoulder blades. Both are connected to the ground beneath us. Perhaps starting to feel the flames of our little campfires just starting to simmer down, just starting to fade away. Just remembering what a wondrous fire they were as they were burning away debris for us, helping us to find ways to make our dreams into a reality. Coming all the way back to the center, let's find a nice comfortable position today for Shavasana. That traditional corpse pose has long legs resting on the ground, long arms resting there. You're welcome to bend through the knees or use butterfly legs if you'd rather, or if that's more comfortable for you. I am going to turn the lights down for us, and then I'll join you again in Shavasana. And as we lie here together in Shavasana, let's allow ourselves to breathe deeply, noticing this wonderful buzz of energy just below the surface of these resting bodies. And as the flames in our little campfires start to fade away, again, we might ponder, what is my purpose of my fire at the solar plexus chakra? Am I trying to burn away obstacles in my path? Am I trying to light a fire in a good, positive way to finally take these plans of mine and bring them into fruition? Maybe we're just enjoying the warmth and the movement of these yoga poses that stimulate the solar plexus. Whatever our purpose or intention was for this practice today, let's lie here in mindful rest, finding our focus on that intention and finding peace and quiet and relaxation at the same time. Start to gently awaken these bodies from this balancing, mindful rest. Inviting small movements into our fingers and our toes to gently wake them. Breathing a little more deeply, filling all parts of this physical body with good waking energy. imagining a yellow lotus flower blooming at the solar plexus chakra, blooming with gratitude for these yoga poses that have helped to stimulate that area today during our practice, blooming in gratitude for all of the people sharing this practice with us today, and always grateful for this body and this breath that carries us to this mat time and time again. Now, when we're ready, for those who are lying down, let's take a moment to gently bend the knees, hugging them in a little closer to the chest, feeling that release of the lower back. And maybe just rocking those knees gently side to side. And when the back feels good and relaxed, let's gently roll the whole body over to one side on the floor. Each of us breathing in the peace, the balance, and the focus that we've shared here today. And exhaling all of the warmth, kindness, encouragement, and love that we have for each other, for the world around us, and for ourselves. And when we're ready, with our eyes still closed, let's rise up to an easy seated posture on the mat. I invite each one of us to bring the palms together at heart center. Let's start to rub those palms vigorously, warming them today. And let's use our warm hands to gently cover our closed eyes. And that wonderful heat that we find radiating there is inviting our eyes to slowly open, and we bring our hands down to rest upon our laps. Clear minds, kind words, compassionate hearts. Namaste.